am Judah Bernard with the Rise Creating Your Voice podcast, and we are welcome that you are here. We are having dialogue with MeKey, with the ETSITAB Company, LLC. And I'm going to pronounce her last name is Chugani. She's out of Houston, Texas, and we just want to congratulate her on her win with PayPal, the grant that she won. And we just want to have a discussion about that and actually what does she do? So I am Judah Bernard, the Wisdom Dialogue and the Motivational Warrior, the Rise Creating Your Voice podcast, and I just want to welcome her and her whole entirety of what she does. So MeKey, on to you.
Hi everyone, my name is MeKey Chugani. I am the owner of ETSITAB Company. It is a trucking company located in Houston, Texas. I have been in business since 2018, and like Bernard said, I am a recipient of the PayPal AEO grant. I received that grant last year in June for minorities businesses, and PayPal AEO have been amazing with the grants. So pretty much I do trucking company, Hotshot. I have a couple of trucks. One is for Hotshot. We do like quick loads across the US, interstates. And then also we have a 48 feet bed. We have a big truck so that we do pipes, refineries. So my partner in crime is my husband, my wonderful husband. He is the CDL driver, and we also have another driver as well. We hire minorities, folks that with felons as well, because I definitely believe in reform for employment as well. So I'm hoping to grow my company with just a lot of expansion with my business. I pretty much do want to expand my business. So if you know anyone in the Houston area that's looking for a job driving trucks, definitely hit me up. I will share I don't really have a company website because of the type of business it is. It's not so much marketing. I work a lot with brokers. Can be multiple brokers. We go on DAT, and we also have a broker that we work directly with that works with Baker Hughes. But work is picking back up. I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that I've gotten as a small business owner. I'm also SBA certified as a woman-owned small business. So I'll definitely share my Instagram page with Bernard for him to post up. You can send me a message on Instagram. I pretty much just have the Instagram page for the business, but if you're looking for a job in the trucking industry, you want to go under my authority, definitely hit me up. It's very expensive. I know how that is, trying to start a business. But I was really honored that Bernard invited me to his podcast. I think it's for a great cause as well, and for us to tell our stories. So I'm here for any question, Bernard, that you have for me. I hope my introductory was good.
It was wonderful. And I think you just gave us a whole synopsis of what has happened in the trucking business and things like that. But I want the viewers to know exactly how did you actually get into trucking business?
So my husband is a CDL driver, and in 2017, both his parents passed away from cancer, and we got money, and we were thinking about how do we invest our money? It's not a lot, but I was very proud that his parents, when they passed away, they didn't leave him with a debt. They left him with something for him to leverage. So me being very business minded, that's really how I am. I'm always thinking about how can I invest? How can I take $1 and make it $1,000 or something? So we kind of put our heads together, and I said to him, I said, well, why don't you get into Hotshot, right? We can get a dually, a gooseneck, and start there, and then see how the business go. I will tell you, the first year we started in 2018, just with one dually and a gooseneck, we grossed over $120,000, just one truck. Of course, we do have overheads, but that was the money we brought in. So that really helped us get into our 18-wheeler, right? So then we're like, okay, great. when you have a business, you want to grow your business. And believe it or not, we did not start with a lot of money. It wasn't a lot, but you know, that's how it is, right? Because us being disadvantaged, we're minorities, and you know, we're not going to get $1 million life insurance policy from our loved ones, but at least if they leave you something, think about how do you invest with that? What skill sets do you have? What you know, a certification that you have that you can leverage it. Well, I am a project manager in a career. You know, my 9 to 5 is project managing, and my husband does have his 9 to 5 as well. But that job can be a little slow because he's not like me. I have PTO, I have different things. He actually have to find a way to make money when he's not making money, when there's no work for him. So we put our heads together. We're like, we're going to start with our dually. We started with the dually, and here we are with the PayPal grant. We actually took the grant money and bought another, because we had a flatbed, 48 feet, but it was kind of old. We took the PayPal money and got a newer one, trailer. So we hire a driver to work for us. And we 1099 him because, you know, to do a W-2, you have all these workers' comp insurance that you have to get. So when you're a small business, do independent contractors, like do 1099 employees as well. Let them consult with you, I call it. Let them work with you. And then, you know, you 1099 them at the end of the year. So the pandemic have been a little bit challenging to work because most of our work came from the refineries, right? We would BPs, we're taking pipe stacks across like the US and stuff like that. Those are really expensive. So, I mean, but we were doing it with our dually, and now we can do over 30,000 pounds, right? Because when you have a dually, you have to be a little under 30 because you're going to wear it out. But now we have a bigger broad work because we have an 18-wheeler, and we want to buy another 18-wheeler. We just kind of don't want to buy one right now because we don't have a driver. So like I said, anyone in the Houston area, if you're looking for a job, reach out to me, because that'll give me the opportunity to go ahead and get my second 18-wheeler as well. So, but it does, I mean, business is really hard, right? To get started, it requires a lot of discipline, and you sacrifice, you know, you really sacrifice a lot of things, and you don't realize what you sacrifice until you get into it. So you have to be really disciplined. You have to put your money, budget. It was like really hard budgeting, right? Because that's an important thing. We want to spend the way we want to spend, but when you start a new business, it takes almost 4 to 5 years for your business to really make enough profit for you to live off and say, okay, I'm going to do this 100%, dedicate everything to it. So, you know, we were great 2018, 2019, but then 2020 came, right? So that was a little bit of a setback, but you know, there were a lot of opportunities out there with grants to get. Each state, our state had grants as well. There was the SBA PPPs. So, you know, that helps with your loss from the 2020 year. And we took that and leveraged it. That's why we're really ready to get another truck. But I just really want to let individuals know that we can do business, right? But not everybody is a business owner. I think we understand what I mean when I say that not everybody can do business. And why? It's not that they can't do it, but they don't want to make the sacrifices it takes to do the business and the discipline that it takes to be in business, right? You can't open your doors, have a sign up for 10 o'clock and you're opening up at 11 o'clock. That's not being disciplined. You can't say, oh, I want to keep this last product for myself and not sell it to someone because, you know, so, and then professionalism is very important to be professional, right? Because at one point I used to have to call brokers for loads, and I'm in a very male dominated environment, right? Because there's not many women in trucking industry, let alone Black women. So that was a lot of challenge as well. So then I had to work with someone that I trusted to make my calls to these brokers to get me the load and to negotiate the rates. Because when I would call, I felt like they would lowball me on the rates. So I had to get somebody else to do that. So, and my husband has been a big factor in that. I mean, he can really negotiate rates as well. So he would be on the load board himself, calling brokers, negotiating the rates, or finding a way around to get a really good rates. Because if the rate isn't worth it, you're just driving and break even. You never want to break even. You want to make something back, especially if you're putting the wear and tear on your trucks. So, and you have to service it. But, you know, I just feel like I want to encourage individuals that any investment you have, whether it's in stocks you want to invest or a skill set you have, right? You may be great at consulting. You may say, I want to consult. I know how to give people advice on how to start a business or how to do a project or something like that. And I will definitely encourage you to do that. You know, it's not that expensive. Certain businesses are expensive. Of course, trucking is very expensive. You have to do finance. Your credit have to be right. So you can
credit, that's important.
Yes, yes, because our dually we have that finance. I mean, both our trucks are financed, but because you don't want to put your cash, your capital on stuff, right? You don't want to take all your capital and buy some equipment out front. You want to finance it and let the business pay for those. So you have cash flow. Cash flow is very important. So credit is very important, right? Because I always feel like if I'm getting an interest rate on a vehicle that's over 3%, it's going to stay right on that lot, right? Because the money you put over the years. So I would say you want to do a business, work on the credit part, right? There are so many credit repair people that you can set your goal, say, okay, it's going to take a year to, you know, fix my credit. And I have great credit, but it wasn't always like that. My credit was not that great. But before I started my business, I made sure my credit was great, that I could get the interest rate on vehicles that I needed or credit cards when I apply, right? So very important, your credit, because you save a lot of money when your credit is good. You really do. And there are people, I reached out to this African-American guy to help me back in 2015, 16 to fix credit. So when I was ready to start my business late of 2017, he was there. I was the best interest rate possible. And I bought my first vehicle in December and we hit the road in January. By the time we got all the insurance paperwork registered with our, you know, the truck can just put there's a lot of registration. So just to do the whole business requirements that you need to get started, I made sure my credit was right. I made sure I could get it. So that would be one of my best advice. Work on your credit. If you're going to finance, if you're not going to finance, forget about credit. I mean, of course, not forget about credit, literally. But if you don't need
credit,
right, if you don't need to finance anything for your business, then don't worry about your credit. You start your business and work on it, but you want to get cash flow. You want to use other people's money for your business. That's the smart way to do it, is using other people's money. I have banks that finance my vehicles, right? And I use their money to finance my vehicle and I pay them monthly. So I have my cash flow, and you know, so that's really good, important as well. One thing I do want to say is I would love to see more women, Black women in the trucking industry if they can get into it. Yeah. It's a very lucrative business, very challenging too, though, because
and MeKey, can I stop just for a moment?
Sure.
And what part of the business you want them in, as owning the trucking company or actually driving the trucking? Because I know a lot of women that love to drive.
Both. I am a feminist. Both. You know, if you can do it, do both. Own it and drive. There's nothing. This is 2021. I think women are great leaders. You know, during the pandemic, some of the countries that were stable with their pandemic, like Germany, I think women are just amazing leaders. And, you know, they make the world, I don't want to sound sexist or, you know, too feminist, but I just think that, you know, you make great, compassionate decisions when, you know, women are in business. So I do drive. I have driven the dually multiple times with my husband. You know, sometimes some load requires co-drivers because you have to go 24 hours straight through. You can't really stop. You need two drivers when you have to, you know, you have to drive legally because you don't want to get pulled over. So we have to, I've driven 40 feet trailers, you know, under 30,000 pounds because of my driver's license, the class. You drive, you know. So, but I encourage Black women and women of color, not just Black, any woman, Latinos, Asian, get into it. Get into the industry. It's lucrative, and you'll have no regrets. It's a lot of work and it's very expensive. But like I said, finance it. Start financing, keep your cash flow, and just keep your cash flow. Business sometimes may be slow because you have peak seasons, you have peak times. So there are times you'll have a lot of loads you can get. And there are times that things may be a little bit slow. You're kind of betting against others, not betting, but bidding against others to get your truckloads. So.
Okay. So I think one thing is our audience needs to understand is, I know it sounds easy, and you said there was maybe some issues. What are some problems, issues, or situations that you encounter in starting this?
Oh God. I mean, when you don't know what you don't know, it can
Right.
be, it's challenging, right? Because you have to register you have to get a DOT number, you have to get an MC number. Before you can even get those, you need to get insurance. The insurance is so expensive in the trucking industry because you have to have about a $1 million liability insurance policy. So, I mean, if you have 2 trucks, you're talking about putting down $4,000 or $5,000, or even maybe $3,000-$4,000 to get started. And then you have to go through all the registration, you have to get cars inspected. You have to have a tracking device that tracks you just to make sure that you're not over driving. It's a lot. I mean, it's challenging, but it's doable. You can do it, right? It's just the little pieces. It's like you build a house, you have the structure, but the little things and details in the house, it can be overwhelming, right? And when you don't know what you know, it's a trial and error, because we didn't really have anyone to drive us, take us through the process. My husband and I was just working together as a team to figure it out and get started. But once you get started and you start going, I mean, it just comes together, and then you know what you have to do. So
roughly, would you say to get started, definitely number one, check your credit.
Not for every business, right? But because if you're going to consulting, giving advice on how to register a business, there's a girl on Instagram that started her business with like her stimulus check, right? And now $3 million. So it depends what you're doing. If you don't have to use other people's money to finance your business, no worries about your credit. I mean, as you're working or your business is going and you're making money, then you can go ahead and start working on your credit. But when you're doing what we're doing, I mean, trucking business is super expensive, right? We started, I don't even want to say how much, because people might think, oh, that's a lot, or but you can start with $100,000 and keep your cash flow. But some people require $10,000 down payment on your trucks, trailer, finance. So you can have a $20,000 overhead before you get started. So like I said, not every business, because even if you're going to use other people's money to finance your company, sometimes you still have a good sum of down payment, maybe $20,000 to get started. But yes, to answer your question, I would recommend get it right, but not all business require that.
Okay. So what can someone do? I know you were one of the recipients of PayPal grant as they were given out to minority-owned businesses. Do you have any tips in writing or proposing for grant money like that too as well that can give our listening audience?
There's a lot of business proposal writers out there, right? They're not as expensive as people think. Put together what you business 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, what type of revenue, how you want to grow your business. That's very important, because even if you try to get an SBA loan, which is one of the lowest interest rate loans you can get, right? And SBA guarantees these loans from the lender. You have to have a business proposal, right? And the thing about it is, maybe now with the pandemic, this would be a great time to have a good business proposal, because they might not need you to be a guarantor on certain amount, right? low interest rate, but hire someone. I did. I had a business consultant I hired for our proposal for our business. It was worth it.
Right. I totally agree with you because just know your lane. If you know you're not good at writing proposals, hire someone where you can see the revenue come outside of that good business proposal that you presented. Beyond, if you just do it yourself. I know a lot of people like to do DIY, and it turns out where they get upset or depressed that it didn't go through. Well, you probably didn't have the niche for writing a business proposal. So I do tell people.
I have an African American guy who's been doing business proposal as a consultant for 20 years. I hired him. I mean, it was worth it. You just find someone. Get somebody good reference from someone. I wouldn't do it. That's not my thing. Business proposal is not my thing, right? I can give you, if I can work with the business proposal writer, I'm giving you my ideas and where I want to see my business and how I want to grow my business. But the verbiage, the writing of it, I'm just not that kind of person.
Right. And I want to commend you just for starting your business, because I think what most people don't understand is when and if you have children, that's something to leave back for their inheritance and things like that too as well. But leaving some plan of funds for whoever you leave behind, and also a legacy too as well. What are some of the legacies that you also see yourself doing besides this trucking company, or how far are we going with the trucking company? I know you said you want to expand, so what does that look like to you?
I probably look at the next 5 years. I want to have about 10 to 15 and that.
And it's done. It's done already.
Yeah. I also want to get my brokerage license. Truck brokers, it's another part of logistics that's really good to do. So that's another expansion of what I want to do. Take my company, ETSITAB company, and expand that, like another portion of that, maybe take my daughter's name, her initial to her name and my name and my husband or whatever, and create a brokerage underneath ETSITAB. Starting your LLC is really good, because if you hear a lot of people say, been in business since 1980, people go and buy your LLC and say, we've been in business since 1980 or whatever. So that's really good for business. So create that LLC, right? And as your kids get older, you can pay their college with the LLC, like they work for you as an employee, give them just build it that way. But it's really left with my husband. The trucking is his thing. It's his dream. Definitely part of it. We're a partner. He manages it. I'm just like the financier about it, right? But he drives it. He gets the driver, interviews them, work through it. He's amazing. And we have a daughter together. So that's, he's definitely thinking about her future and her and the legacy for her. If you're married, make sure you and your partner are on the same page with. So make sure you and your partner are on the same page with having as business partners, because it's very important.
Yes, that is very important. And you heard it here from MeKey that, and I always tell everyone, first of all, fix yourself. And then once you're with your partner or whoever you're with, you come together to unite. You don't come together to argue, complain, and do whatever. But are there going to be disagreements? Yes. But at the end of the day, uniting, especially in partnership and uniting, making sure that you're doing things together and are aligned and not trying to be separate. And I know a lot of relationships end in the separation in finances and business and things like that too as well. So I applaud you for you and your husband coming together as a unit and developing ETSITAB company. See, I got it that time.
Yeah.
And because basically you're able to present this trucking idea and business to other people to at least give them hope in starting their own trucking company, and also being able to at least give an idea of what trucking looks like from your standpoint of view. Are there any questions or anything that people would like to ask of Miss MeKey? You
And
can tell us now.
I can't see questions, so you have to read it to me because I'm not on Facebook.
Oh, yes. And what is your Instagram too as well?
ETSITAB, it's the company's name. That's the ETSITAB LLC. That's it.
And I'm putting that ESTI company, and that's it. So I already put that on there. So it's her Instagram is ETSITAB company, and that's it. Don't put that's it on it. It's just ETSITAB company on Instagram. So we need everyone to definitely, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to it later on, if you're going to listen to it on Sunday, to actually get on her Instagram page, hit her up, especially if you're in your Houston area. And I know I have some people in the Houston area. Make sure if anybody want to drive trucks and things like that, you hit MeKey and her husband up, and just celebrate and let's support our Black-owned business. If we have any dispatchers in there that's giving my girl a hard time, please shout her down, give her the bids, and let her have her information so she can get about the work of doing her business. I don't think we have any questions at this moment. Tell us a little bit more. I know you talked about the PayPal and the grant. Just tell us your process in doing that.
Well, the guy that did my business proposal, he happens to be my partner now. We're working together on another project, really huge initiative right now. That's how he became my business partner, when he helped me with the PayPal and the business proposal. But he actually was the one who sent me the PayPal application. And I went through it, read the requirements and everything. And I said, oh, okay, I meet the requirements. And I went ahead and applied. I had to, of course, they have to make sure you're legitimate. So you're looking at taxes, article of business, statements from, prior to the pandemic, because it's really a pandemic grant that they were doing. So it's really self-explanatory. I mean, once you meet the requirements through the application, you apply and, you're in the running, right? There has been so many, I really want to say kudos to a lot of organizations like the RISE, SBA. There's been so many organizations that's really helped small businesses get back. PayPal is one of, just amazing. Yes. So, I'm very grateful to PayPal. They were able to help me get a new trailer, which I've been wanting, prior to the pandemic. It was great. I used the money to get new equipment and have some cash flow a little bit too. So, but just look at the grants requirement. It's very important that you meet the basic requirements, right? There was the Beyonce grants as well. There's been so many organizations out there that's been giving away money to people, especially minorities as well. So and there's the PPPs we've had, the PPP, EIDL, EIDL supplemental grant, just so many. I mean, listen, I got grants. I took advantage and I applied for any and every grant that I met the requirements for. So sometimes you're not going to get it because there's just someone else who has a better pitch or it's different. You're not going to get every grant.
Wait your turn.
Yes, you're not going to get every grant. That's for sure. You're not. So don't think you are. When you get 2 or 3, be very humble and grateful that you were chosen. So,
and do the right thing with.
Grow your business. Grow your business. That's what you do with your business money. You grow your business, because when things open back up, you want your business to be up and running. Right now, we're up and running, like grossing good revenues right now. Right. Within the last month, we've had a lot of loads, and because of the labor shortage, it's been challenging, but my husband takes it, or if it's something I can do locally on the weekends or something, I'll do it. I don't mind hopping in the dually and with the goosenecks and driving to deliver a load. Never think that, you know? So that's just what you have to do. You do what you have to do to have your business grow, and be professional and leave politics out of it. Don't, you know, if you want to grow your business, you got to leave a lot of politics out of it too.
Yes.
And of course, you don't want to work with people that have certain standards or values that you find racial or whatever, but you know, for the most part, just respect everyone's view to a degree. That was challenging for me as well, but you know, it's been good. Our business is picking back up and we're looking for a driver. So, and I mean, we can always do another podcast if there's enough questions and anybody want me to come on, or they're interested in a trucking business and they have any questions or whatever, or they want to come and be their own owner, but they need an authority to go under, reach out to me. I don't, you know, you just go under my authority. I have an MC number, DOT. Just, you don't want to pay all the money to get started, but you have your own trucks. This is another thing I say. If you have a truck already, or you want to get your own truck and you don't want to pay the huge overhead to get started, go under someone's authority. Someone already pay for the insurance.
I heard that MeKey says she has authority.
They'll charge you the insurance fees for it to have your truck on their insurance. And then you drive your own truck and you pay, you know, you pay them to have that, to be underneath their authority or whatever. There's so many.
Someone asked, and this is totally on you, MeKey. They said, congratulations on winning the grant. Sorry they was late tuning in. And you can give them a roundabout park figure, but they said, how much were you awarded?
For the PayPal was $10,000.
Oh, that's a lot.
Another supplemental one this year as well. It was an additional 2,500 almost. So they did you know, if you were a grant recipient, they got more fundings as well, and they were able to give it to the recipients that received the 10,000, and they got another. So I'll say it was 12,500 total from PayPal.
Oh wow! Congratulations! And they also said they were part of an investment club, and they're interested in the trucking industry, and would love to see a part 2 of this. So look for a part 2 of this.
I read part 2. Just let me know, and we can do it.
Yes, yes. And I would like to know what people would like to see in a part 2, because basically, like she said, if we are able to, if you want to start a trucking company and you don't have all of the requirements, and if you need somebody to follow up on this, she said, you know, get up under somebody's authority. There's a lot of information out there, but I think what people always do sometimes is either feel like it's supposed to jump out at them instead of doing the research. I'm a researcher by nature. So I like to research and do the necessary things before I jump out there and be in it. But, you know, fortunately, we all are different people. So I know other people need help too, as well as, you know, being able to decipher what's good. And I always tell people, what is good for you is not good for me, and what is good for me is not good for you. So you gotta like know your lane and know where you need to be in a specific time, in a specific place, because it's going to be for you if you're in the right place at the right time.
Know your passion and your talent and your certification, and you know, what drives you, you know, is pretty much what Bernard is saying. Like, there are certain people I admire so much that are business owners and like bloggers, fashion bloggers, and all. I love that, but I'm just not, you know, that type of person. Like, it's not passion for it, right? I don't have a passion to blog and talk about fashion, but some people are so great at it. They have you tuned in looking like, oh my gosh, this outfit is amazing, or they can put print on print or do something really great. So it's just a matter of your passion. I'm more like office, corporate type of person, kind of boring, you know, boring fashion, right? I do. I just like to think. I sit and think all day. My head, maybe that's why my hair is thinning, right? Because I'm always thinking, you know, and thinking on different things, different type of investments, or how can I, you know, what's my passion, and, you know, stuff like that. So for part 2, we can talk about maybe the steps it takes to start our trucking business. I can basically tell you for trucking business, not anything else because, you know, I don't know other things, but maybe a part two, we can talk about what's step one?
And guess what? The part two, you guys, I'm gonna make sure that she comes to DC and I will style her. So you'll see her from MeKey after Judah styles her.
Absolutely.
And then we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. Coffee, tea, face to face.
Yes, face to face. So we're gonna sit down and talk about it. Are there any questions? They did say awesome. Thank you, MeKey, for that information. I want everyone just to know that there are so many opportunities out here. What is your best? Who is your best you in what you do? Start identifying what you are good at, because sometimes we feel that that common job that we have is, and that's our career, and you're stuck doing it for so long. Start celebrating your happiness and what makes you happy. And whatever that is, trust me, once your passion is employed and is evoked and you are feeling at peace at everything that you do, guess what? That is your career. That is what you're called to be. That is what you can manifest on as growing, and where you can always want to be able to do what you do and not just a job is what I call it. Any good advice before leaving here, MeKey?
You said it. You said everything. I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, you said it the Bernard way, but just be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
Don't measure yourself by other people's tape measurements, you know? So.
Yeah. And that's one good thing. Hopefully we, you know, I know we'll get another opportunity to address any other situations. I want people to definitely come on. I know this is like a roundabout time because it's a 5 o'clock in DC, but it's, you know, early in some places. So we'll probably do a later part two so people can come on in and ask questions. Because I know a lot of people that are interested in the trucking company, but I'm not the expert in the trucking company. But so I bring the experts on board. Definitely, do anyone else have any questions, any comments that want to give MeKey? We want to definitely give her a round of applause. Not only just doing it, going out and stepping on faith on what she believes in, but actually putting it into manifestation and actually being about the business, getting everything set, drawing the line, making the borders, crossing boundaries, and actually becoming a minority-owned business, has an SBA, everything is in place. And that's what I look forward to everyone doing it, is making sure that you're on time and actually doing things in order and not out of order. She's accomplished her LLC and everything else. So kudos off to you. As we leave here, I just want to just thank her for coming in on the Rise Creating Your Voice podcast. We do motivational text every Wednesday. You can text The Rise to 844-452-4110. We receive texts every Wednesday. I will not stop doing these texts. Just motivational text every Wednesday, sometimes 2 texts the way I feel, whatever. But I send them out for free on my part. Yes, it costs me to send them, but I do send them out because basically that's what God called me to do, to be the motivational warrior and also a wisdom dialogue or two as well. If there are no more questions, we thank everyone for joining. This will air again, podcast form, this Sunday. It will air at 12 noon. For those who missed it, I'm looking forward to you to come back in and come and listen to these great gems, these great diamonds, these great nuggets that MeKey is dropping. I mean, this is so awesome to see a young Black couple, African-American couple that are doing their thing, their daughter, having a legacy for their daughter. I'm just amazed, and I'm just, you know, I'm overjoyed, overwhelmed, kind of, sort of too, but I love it because basically these are things that we are supposed to be doing. These are things that we are continue to do and keep rising to the top. And that's why we have the Rise Creating a Voice for those who wasn't able to, you know, step out on their own. But start creating your voice, start creating your plan. But first of all, start creating yourself, because then you create your plan, and your plan will sustain as long as you've helped yourself out. Any bye-byes? Any other advice, MeKey?
No, you've great advice. You know, I love the spirituality of it, and the positivity and the support system. So
yes. And call on me at any time, and that's only for MeKey, not for anybody else. I'm just playing. Because, I do a little dab here and there, whatever. But definitely stay tuned for part 2 with MeKey, where we'll take you through the steps and dialogue of every part of the company part, company LLC part, and the ETSITAB company. It's a trucking company, everyone. Trucking company. It's a trucking company, for those who don't know, and that she has everything in place with a business consultant. She has, I don't know anybody who has just tied all the knots and dotted all the T's and P's. I think she's a lot like me. I'm like the overachiever. I don't want to leave no stone unturned, no P this way, no T uncrossed, no I dotted. That's me as well. So if you don't have anything else, understand we always love one another, and we're all about peace. We're all about establishing a platform for those who don't have a platform, so we can get their businesses out there, get their stories out there, and also be able to just converse and have dialogue for those who are just itching to have a trucking company, be a truck driver, want to have a business under MeKey and the ETSITAB company LLC. So reach out. Her email is in the chat. The Instagram is in the chat. And also, as we leave here, you know what I say? Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell your spouse, heck, tell everyone. We'll see you on the next podcast. There is a part 2 coming up, and we'll see you later. Bye.